I'll be talking about mainly how a common person, a lay person can get into the field of investment and do it on his own. That is the main purpose of the talk. So, મારા વિશે વાત કરું તો ઇનિશિયલી કીડો પહેલેથી હતો ઇન્વેસ્ટમેન્ટનો, બટ નોલેજ ક્યારેય નહોતું. And it all started with a point of awakening when one of my GI surgeon friends gifted me a book by Peter Lynch, who is a cult figure in the investment field. He is a superstar fund manager of Fidelity in USA, and he's written a wonderful book, One Up on Wall Street. એ બુક તમે વાંચો તો યુ વિલ ઇઝીલી રિલેટ ટુ વોટ એવર ઇઝ ટોકિંગ ટુ. કોઈ એમાં ટેકનિકલ કોઈ આસ્પેક્ટ નથી. વેરી સિમ્પલ બુક ટુ ફોલો એન્ડ ઇટ ઇઝ એપ્લિકેબલ અક્રોસ ઓલ માર્કેટ્સ ઓફ ધ વર્લ્ડ. એને જે સિચ્યુએશન્સ ડિસ્ક્રાઇબ કરી છે યુ વિલ બી ઇઝીલી એબલ ટુ ફાઇન્ડ આઉટ ઇન અવર માર્કેટ્સ ઓલ્સો, કે આ એ જે વાત કરતા હતા એક્ઝામ્પલ આપેલું, સેમ થિંગ ઇઝ પ્લેઇંગ આઉટ હિયર ઓલ્સો. I should invest. So that's how my journey started. I immediately fell in love with that book. Mara mate Peter Lynch is Sri Krishna that he is talking about. So then the refinement came. I read more books. I got into touch with different investors, and the journey continues. Stock market is such a big ocean that you tend to learn new things almost every day. The market teaches you new lessons, and you have to be ready to learn. So basically we'll be talking about why we should invest, when we should invest, how, what, how much, and then the temperament part of it. So why should we invest? The reasons are simple enough. હવે બધા લોકોને આ વસ્તુ ખબર પડી ગઈ છે. With the interest rates coming down, a lot of people are getting jittery કે અમારા રિટાયરમેન્ટ ફંડમાંથી ઇનફ પૈસા આવતા નથી, ડિપોઝિટ્સમાંથી. I get a lot of doctor friends coming up to me કે ભાઈ હવે અમને ઇન્વેસ્ટમેન્ટ ચાલુ કરવું છે, રિટર્ન્સ થોડા વધારે જોઈએ છે. સો that is one of the biggest reasons beating inflation. Second is about compounding and planning your retirement. I have seen a lot of doctors who keep working, slogging actually I'd call it. સવારે 9-8 વાગ્યાથી ચાલુ કરે, રાતના 10 વાગ્યા સુધી પાવડો લઈને જેટલું થાય એટલું ભેગું કરવાનું. But there's no end to it. You don't get time to enjoy your life. There's no planning for any retirement. So this is an easy way to plan your retirement. Then easy liquidity. Stock market, you can withdraw your money very quickly, put in your money very quickly. There is very little hassle. Real estate તમારે લેવું હોય તો તમારે કેટલું બધું diligence કરવું પડે, બિલ્ડર કેવો છે, આ છે તે છે, બધું ઘણું બધું વિચાર કરવું પડે. પ્રોપર્ટી એકવાર લીધી પછી તમને પ્રોફિટ બી થયો તો એના માટે રેડી માર્કેટ નથી હોતું. તમે પ્રોપર્ટી વેચવા કાઢો 3 મહિના 6 મહિના વર્ષ નીકળી જાય, કોઈ બાયર આવે. That advantage is there with equities. The best part is you can make your money work for you. તમે X amount of money તમારી ઇન્કમમાંથી if you keep investing in equities, it has been proven over so many years now. There have been records from 1900 till now. Okay, equities have given decent returns if you do it wisely. The other thing is you get to partner a lot of people. ઘણા બધા એવા એન્ટરપ્રેન્યોર્સ હોય જે લોકોની સાથે એમની કંપનીમાં તમે ઇન્વેસ્ટ કરો. યુ ગેટ ટુ એન્જોય ધ રાઇડ વિથ હિમ. એન્ડ પ્લસ એના જે હેડેક્સ છે એ તમારા માથે નથી આવતા. આજે આ માણસ કામ પર નથી આવ્યો, આ સ્વિચ ઉડી ગઈ છે, આમ થયું છે, આ ટેક્સ નથી ભરાયો, તમારે યુ ડોન્ટ હેવ એની પ્રોબ્લેમ. તમે એના શેર લઈને એની જોડે બેસી જાઓ એન્ડ એન્જોય ધ જર્ની અલોંગ વિથ હિમ. સો દેટ ઇઝ ધ બેસ્ટ પાર્ટ અબાઉટ ઇન્વેસ્ટિંગ. This is the most important question, when to invest. માર્કેટનું શું લાગે છે? That is the most common question we have been asked. And the truthful answer is મને નથી ખબર. Because જે બી બોલતા હોય કે આ 10,000ની નીચે જશે ને પછી 8,000 જશે ને 15,000 જશે, બધું ફેંકાફેંક કરતા હોય છે. ટીવી પર આવીને જે બોલતા હોય એ બી 2 દિવસ પછી તમે જોશો તો બધો સૂર બદલાઈ ગયો છે. રિસન્ટ એક્ઝામ્પલ, જાન્યુઆરી સુધી એવરીબડી વોઝ ગંગો કે આ માર્કેટ આટલું થશે. એક પોરિંજુ કરીને એક સુપરસ્ટાર ફંડ મેનેજર, 2062 સુધી કોઈ બુલ માર્કેટ પૂરું નથી થવાનું. અને પછી 15 દિવસમાં બધું બધા ધરતી પર આવી ગયા. હજુ ખાલી 10% બી કરેક્શન નથી થયું, એ પહેલાં તો બધાનો મૂડ ચેન્જ થઈ ગયો. તો દેટ ઇઝ હાઉ ધ આઈડિયલ થિંગ ટુ ડુ ઇઝ ફોકસ ઓન યોર ઓન કંપનીઝ. તમે જે બાય કરો છો એ કંપની પર ફોકસ કરો, માર્કેટને જે કરવું એ કરવા દો. બિકોઝ એ આપણા હાથમાં નથી. વાય વરી અબાઉટ દેટ? સો Peter Lynch says more money is lost in waiting for correction than in the correction itself. તમે સારી કંપની લઈને બેઠા હશે, કદાચ the price might go down 10%, 20%, but as soon as the mood changes, those companies pick up very quickly because people know these are good companies. So time in the market rather than the timing is important. Sometimes if say you are able to detect the signs of froth in the market, then you might say lessen your commitment to the market. You may come into 20%, 30% of your portfolio as cash. That can be done, but over the years I have found that I have been much more comfortable remaining fully invested rather than worrying about this froth and market corrections. How much to invest? Because that is an important question. Doctors પાસે there's plenty of money out sloshing around. બેંકમાં એફડીઝ બહુ પડેલી હોય છે. બટ સે ઇફ અ ડૉક્ટર ઇન્વેસ્ટ 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs ઇન ધ માર્કેટ, પછી એનું ટેન્શન દુનિયાભરનું કરે કે આ શેર મારો ઉપર ગયો, આ નીચે ગયો. 2 લાખના તમારા 1.5 લાખ થશે કે 2.5 લાખ થશે કે 4 લાખ થશે, શું તમારી લાઈફસ્ટાઈલમાં કોઈ ફેર પડવાનો જ નથી પડવાનો. સો યુ હેવ ટુ ઇન્વેસ્ટ અ મિનિંગફુલ અમાઉન્ટ કે જે એક્સ તમારા માટે એક્સ અમાઉન્ટ can be different. For a young guy, it can go up to 50% of your net worth because he is beginning his journey. For a very senior doctor who wants to play it safe, who has got expenses lined up, then that amount might reduce. Or for some senior doctor who is totally done for life, he might invest 50-80% of his portfolio. That is all totally a subjective matter. But invest an amount that will let you sleep in peace. That is most important. સ્ટોક માર્કેટ નીચે જાય 10%, 20%, 30%, તમારી ઊંઘ ખરાબ ના થવી જોઈએ. That is the amount you need to invest in equities. So the art of investment basically consists of stock selection, portfolio allocation, and then sitting tight, and the occasional churn. So stock selection. Basically કઈ કંપનીના શેર તમારે ખરીદવા જોઈએ, that is what everybody wants. જે ટીપ માટે બધા કહેતા હોય છે કે શું લઈ લઉં. So that is first part. So the sources of identifying good companies can be varied. You can find investment ideas from anywhere if you have got an open mind. So buy what you see or use. વર્ષો પહેલા there was this company called Page Industries which used to own the jockey brand. What you could have done is you could have bought a couple of their products, used it, and the products are so good you would have been addicted to it. And you could easily have figured out that this is something that I am going to use day in and day out for years together. So no reason why other people will not jump onto the bandwagon. So this is how you find your investment idea. ત્યારે તમે મૂવી જોવા જાઓ છો, you find people spending a lot of money. પોપકોર્નના 300 રૂપિયા 200 રૂપિયા લે છે. You know it is exorbitant pricing, but still people pay. Multiplexes, that can be a good idea for next few years. So there are only 2, 3, 4 listed players, PVR and Inox and all those people. The other option is to go for research recommendations. A lot of brokerage houses come up with their own internal research reports with targets and all these things. The idea is to use those research reports to understand the business of the company rather than looking at the targets and looking at the earnings projection, because they can vary. But if you are confident that this company is going to do well, then you can take the next step. Ideas from investor friends, forums, these are only starting points. Basically, you should know why you are buying a company. તમે કોઈ પણ કંપનીના શેર ખરીદો, તમને ખબર હોવી જોઈએ કે ભાઈ મેં આ કંપનીમાં શેના માટે ઇન્વેસ્ટમેન્ટ કર્યું છે, આ કંપની શું પ્રોડક્ટ બનાવે છે, એનું શું પ્રોસ્પેક્ટ્સ છે. It's not rocket science. We have been invested since a long time in a company called Hawkins Cooker. હવે હોકિન્સના કુકર બનાવે છે, સીટી વાગે છે બધાના ઘરમાં, બધાને ખબર છે, રાઈટ? The only problem is there is an old guy sitting at the top who is not allowing the company to grow very fast, because he is very fastidious about the kind of products that his company launches. He is now 85. હવે જમાઈ અંદર લાયા છે, he is an IM educated guy, but still it will take some time for the Jamai to work his magic on the company. But till that time you are getting a decent amount of dividend. You know the product is going to go on forever in India. Cooker સિવાય કોઈને ચાલવાનું નથી. Cookerમાં there are only two options, Prestige and Hawkins. It's a waiting game, but you end up making decent amount of money. So that's how you can find your ideas, or you can go into some kind of momentum thing. કે ભાઈ આ ઉપર જઈ રહ્યું છે, આની જાત્રામાં આપણે પણ જોઈન થવું છે. That's how people make money also. There's another way. But basically, say you can read a research report, you can read a company's annual report or whatever you want to do, but you should have a one-page investment thesis where, say, you put in 10, 12 lines of what you know about the company, why you are buying that company, and most recently, it has been advocated why you will sell that company. નીચે એક line બી add કરી દેજો. એટલે at the time of selling, your thesis should play out properly. So the criteria for selection is, first you have to be, say if you are investing for the longer term, you want very honest management, capable management. એ લોકોને એમનો ધંધો કરતા આવડવો જોઈએ. Second is the business has to be understandable and predictable. હું કોઈ બિઝનેસમાં માનો કે સોફ્ટવેર કંપની લઉં, ERP એ લોકો કાયમ લખતા હોય છે. હવે ERPનો મને જો મિનિંગ જ ના ખબર હોય તો એ કંપનીમાં મારે ઇન્વેસ્ટ કરવાનો કોઈ મતલબ જ નથી. It is better that I buy my cooker company rather than going into a software company, because I understand the business that I'm buying. There has to be a potential for growth. At least you have to make a case about why this company is going to grow. The growth can come either from increased number of products, same product that the company is selling, or newer products that the company is launching, or geographical expansion. Any kind of reason, if you can figure out કે આ રીતના કંપની ગ્રો કરશે, then you are through. Next is opportunity size versus market cap. Market cap is મારે આખી કંપની, ટોટલ કંપની લઈ લેવી છે, એ કેટલામાં મને મળશે, that is called market cap. અને એની સામે what is the opportunity size available in that particular segment, that you have to figure out. Okay, usually you get these things, you can even Google these things. Okay, opportunity size in this industry, તો બધા ઘણા બધા રિપોર્ટ્સ આવતા હોય. You can talk to somebody who is doing that kind of business, કે આની અંદર શું થઈ રહ્યું છે. And it's very easy to figure it out. Less prone to disruption. અત્યારના things are changing very fast in technology and all those products things. A lot of artificial intelligence and all those things is coming into play. So you don't want to end up buying companies which are severely prone to disruption. Example, I can give you a old example of Kodak, Xerox company હતી US માં. It was a super company, એને blue chip ગણતા હતા લોકો. પછી I think પછી then newer machines started coming up. The company started losing its mojo. Even in the Indian context, there will be many examples. Reliance Power, Suzlon, these are the things you don't want to do. Next is stock markets love growth stories. Any company that you can easily see it's going to grow at say 20%, 25%, 30% CAGR. CAGR is cumulative annual growth rate. So if a company, you can find out that company, just latch onto it and get, even if you pay a much higher price for that company, you'll end up making money say 2-3 years down the line, because the growth will take care of the valuations. Next is perception versus reality mismatch. What happens is sometimes stock markets run most of the times on what is called perception, fear and greed. So sometimes you find this mismatch between what actually really is and what is the market perception about that company. We'll talk about that when we come to a company where I made a lot of money, which is called Ajanta Pharma. Buying when there is a blood on the streets. Recently we saw an example of that. People were scared, absolutely scared, when the market correction started. And even if you put an order, say 100 રૂપિયાનો શેર હોય ને તમે 92માં લેવા નાખ્યું હોય ને તો બી it gets filled. આવી જાય છે. પછી then sanity returns within a couple of days. But those are the opportunities which you can utilize. If you have got extra fund, you can buy those things. And if you don't know, I've put some list of stocks which you don't have to research, which are evergreen blue chips. You can keep accumulating those kind of companies and you get decent returns. So stock selection, doing basic research. So the things that I mentioned, basically, it's very easy to download a company's annual report, read only the part where management discussion is written. It is only 3-4 paragraphs. Easy for doctors because they are accustomed to reading long things and then digesting those things. There's a very wonderful tool developed called screener.in. You put the name of any company and you get a data for 10 years. Last 10 વર્ષના એના profit loss નું આખું જ તમારું statement આવી જાય. Sales કેટલું છે, profit કેટલો છે, tax કેટલો ભર્યો છે, interest કેટલો ભર્યો છે, dividend payout કેટલું કરે. You get all the details. Value Picker is a forum which I am associated with, which is basically designed to educate retail investors. Emma, what you have to do is you have to create an ID, log in, and then you get to read a lot of discussions on different companies. People come out with their own views. The only thing there is garbage comments are not allowed. If you are writing something, it has to have a meaning so that it becomes more useful for other people. The other source of information is annual reports of the company. Sometimes many of my friends, what they do is they read 10 years of annual reports of a particular company before taking a call on the company. What they do by doing this is they see whether the management is walking the talk. 5 વર્ષ પહેલા એ બોલતો હોય કે હું આટલું એક્સપાન્શન કરવાનો છું, આમ કરવાનો છું, તેમ કરવાનો છું, પછી આજે શું સિચ્યુએશન છે. If whatever he has talked about is practically playing out, then I have got more confidence in the management કે આ બધાને ખબર છે કે શું ધંધો કરી રહ્યા છે, ફેંકાફેંક નથી કરતા. Research reports are available plenty. There are many paid brokerages, many paid research houses which provide you with say monthly peaks and this and that. The only thing is you do not have to follow them blindly. You have to do your own little bit of diligence and then only take a call. Research Bytes is a recently put up website where you get to hear the management conference calls. After every quarterly results, companies do conduct calls with their investors, analysts, and you can call in and get your answers. હવે આ લોકો બધું આખું રેકોર્ડિંગ કરીને મૂકી રાખે, તમે તમારા ટાઈમે સાંભળી શકો. This is a bit deeper digging. So important criteria is sales growth, profit growth. You have to find out whether the company is paying taxes or not, because that is the real earning. Dividends કેટલું છે, balance sheet કેવી છે. You don't want to buy companies with too much of debt. We have seen what happens to companies which have a lot of debt. In the example of Suzlon, GMR, GVK, the list is endless. And અત્યારે તો આ બધી કંપની જે ફરચામાં ગયેલી છે એ બધી, they are all poor quality companies. Promoter integrity, valuations, આ બધું, these are all say a step ahead for doctors. First you have to have the basic groundwork clear in your mind. For that there is no option but to read a couple of books. And then only you will understand all those things. અત્યારે હું આ બધામાં ડિટેલમાં નથી જતો, તમને પછી બગાસા આવશે. So where do you find companies which give you multi-bagger returns, say 2x, 3x, 5x, 7x kind of returns? There has to be consistent growth. The other area you can look out for is change in the management or promoters. Sometimes what happens is the company is doing nothing, going nowhere. Suddenly another generation of the same promoters comes in, or somebody else buys a company. Then you have to sit up and notice કે ભાઈ આ માણસ આ કંપનીમાં કેમ ઘૂસ્યો છે, એને આમાં શું દેખાયું છે. If you can figure out how this guy is going to take this company to the next level, then it becomes an interesting buy. Demergers. These days what happens is companies which have 3, 4, 5 divisions demerge a part of their business into a separate company. And many times markets don't understand the full potential of that demerged part. So there you get a lot of value. Hidden assets. There are some companies which have got huge amounts of real estate, cash on the books, a lot of different ways of hidden assets. So there you can find out those things. Industry tailwinds. So sometimes what Peter Lynch used to do is he used to accompany his wife to superstores. Wife shopping kare and he used to move around. And those visits used to provide him with a lot of stock ideas. Say if you go with your wife, you find out that in a mall, if you find out that a company no product both fast vechai rayu che, it's easy to find out the label કે આ કોણ બનાવે છે. If it is a listed company, you can do further research in that company. So that's how you can find out ideas. Balance sheet cleanups. Many companies, after say many years of very poor balance sheet, they suddenly wake up, find out કે ભાઈ હવે આ બધું ક્લીન કરવાની જરૂર છે ને તો આપણે બી NCLTમાં જઈશું. So they find out ways. અમુક useless properties પડી હોય, કંઈક asset પડ્યા હોય, part of the business they sell off. Ultimately, it all amounts to cleaning up of the balance sheet, making it more healthy. Then you have to notice those companies, કે why are they doing these things? The way to find it out is કે કોઈ તમે સીધી balance sheet નું detail જુઓ screener પર, the debt part keeps reducing every year, 2, 3, 4 years. Then suddenly you have to find out કે આમાં વધારે કામ કરવાની જરૂર છે. Some companies hive off the loss-making businesses. And પછી જે profitable part રહે, that fetches a lot of value. Cyclical lows. There are certain cyclical companies. Steel છે, cement છે, sugar છે. These are all cyclicals. They have a cycle ranging from 2 to 5 years. And if you are able to figure out where you want to catch these companies, it becomes easy to make money. Supply side shrinkages. Say, a company is going through a lot of pain. A sector is going through a lot of pain. What will happen is the weakest players ultimately will fold up. 2, 3, 4 company bankruptcy file karse. There will losses even in the market leaders of that particular segment, cement che, steel che. So there will be absolutely blood in that particular business segment. And that is the time to buy those companies. તમે એના બધું જોવા જશો તો અંદર કોઈ તમને સારી વસ્તુ નહીં દેખાય. But if you buy the market leader of that particular segment, that is usually the lowest point in that industry. And then you end up making your multiples. So when to sell? Buying, we have discussed a lot of things. Again I say, you'll have to take yourself a next step further. The purpose of the talk is કે તમારી અંદર જો કીડો હોય તો થોડો એને ફરતો કરીએ, just to make it move towards a definite direction. So the idea is to ride your winners and sell your losers. Stock market में usually લોકો શું કરતા હોય કે કોઈ 100 રૂપિયાના બે અલગ અલગ કંપનીના શેર લીધા હોય, એક 150 થયો હોય અને બીજો 70 થયો હોય, તો મોસ્ટ ઇમ્પલ્સિવ વસ્તુ એ હોય કે 150 વાળો વેચી કાઢું, પ્રોફિટ ઘરમાં લઈ લઉં, અને પેલો 70 વાળો ના વેચે કે મારો 100 રૂપિયાનો ભાવ આવે ત્યારે જ હું વેચીશ. That is absolutely the wrong thing to do. Because why is 70 રૂપિયા કેમ થયો છે? Because your investment thesis has not played out. You are wrong. You have to accept કે ભાઈ આ મારી mistake છે. I have to sell this company, get out and deploy that money in a more profitable manner in some other company. Rather than waiting for the markets કે ભાઈ આટલો જ ભાવ આવવો છે. માર્કેટને કોઈ ઓબ્લિગેશન નથી કે તમારો ભાવ લાવવો પડે.
Excuse me, sir. It's a war.
Yeah, I'll just take
Sure.
minutes. So that is about when to sell. If there is excessive overvaluation, there are better options. There's market exuberance which was there in January. You could have sold a part of it. Portfolio allocation, this is important. You identified a company, say HDFC Bank. તમે એનું ખાલી એક ખોલીને જુઓ, every year there is consistent clockwork like growth, 20% top line growth, 20-25% bottom line growth. તમને લાગે કે આ સારું છે, મારે લઈ લેવું છે. How much will you allocate to your portfolio? The ideal thing to do is, if you are very confident, go for 10%, 15% allocation. So that part of your portfolio gets taken care of by a very strong company. What people do is કે 200 શેર 500 શેર લઈને ઉછળકૂદ કરતા હોય, ફેંકાફેંક કરતા હોય કે મારો શેર 5 ગણો ગયો, 3 ગણો ગયો. It's no meaning, because end of the day, how much money you make when you are right is important. So you have to make a sufficient enough bet so that it makes a difference to your portfolio. So these are the compounding machines for those who are not too conversant of what to buy. These kind of stocks as a basket can be bought. HDFC Bank, Asian Paints, Group Finance, ITC, Page Industries. These are all businesses which have been since almost 20, 30 years and are going to remain there and not very prone to disruptions. Circle of competence, તમને ખબર હોવી જોઈએ, whatever you are buying, you should know. Doctors getting interested in software companies is no use. It's better to focus on pharma companies where you got better knowledge. These are the list of past multi-baggers. I think time is not permitting me to talk about them. These are my watch list. Currently, I'm focusing on these companies. If I get a good point to enter, I might enter. So these are all work in progress for me. These are not recommendations. Do's and don'ts. So don't act on tips. Don't follow anyone blindly. Hitesh bhai લીધા છે હું પણ લઈ લઉં. No. Because Hitesh bhai can be wrong. એ તો વેચીને નીકળી જશે. તમે પકડીને બેહી રહેશો. What will you do? So don't invest without a thesis. This is most important. Because if you don't know why you have bought, you will never figure out why you need to sell it. Temperament is very important. Markets correcting severely will impact your temperament. તમે કોઈ 100 રૂપિયામાં કોઈ સારી કંપની બધું રિસર્ચ કરીને લીધી હશે અને 70 રૂપિયે 75 રૂપિયા ભાવ થઈ જશે, યોર કોન્ફિડન્સ વિલ સ્ટાર્ટ શેકિંગ કે અમે સાચું લીધું છે ખોટું લીધું છે. યુ હેવ ટુ હેવ યોર કન્વિક્શન કે ભાઈ ઓકે અત્યારે માર્કેટ વીક છે, કંઈ વાંધો નહીં, આઈ વિલ હોલ્ડ ઓન ટુ માય કંપની. સો દેર વિલ બી મેની ડ્રોડાઉન્સ ડ્યુરિંગ ધ સ્ટોક માર્કેટ ઇન્વેસ્ટમેન્ટ. These are the list of investment books which are easy to read. આપણા માટે બહુ difficult books નથી, which you can read and take yourself to the next level. I'll share this with Mohal bhai, so if anybody is interested, you can take this list. So I think, thank you.